Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Now today I have got some new Charlotte Tilbury goodies. As you know, I've been a bit behind with all the new releases recently because I've had a lot going on, which you all know about if you follow my live. So I have just put in an order for Charlotte Tilbury and I have got the new Radiant Concealer, the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer, the new Airbrush Brightening Flawless Finish. And I've also got two of the new shades of Eyes to Mesmerise. Now, I'm going to do the Eyes to Mesmerise in a separate video because I just wanted to dedicate this whole video to these two new products. Anyone that watched me on Instagram yesterday got a bit of a spoiler alert last night because I'm very impressed with this. This is in a Wayne Goss terms one of these. So stay tuned and I'm going to take you through this and then we will finish off by showing you the powder. Now I'm just going to grab my Beautiful Skin Foundation and put that on first and then we shall get going and I will tell you a little bit about this new concealer, which I'm very excited about. Okay, so I've got my Beautiful Skin Foundation on, which I've put on in shade 7 Neutral. And I'm going to get onto shades with this new concealer in a minute because it was a little bit of a nightmare finding my shade. But I worked it out with the help of Lena on film on Instagram. She's a Charlotte Tilbury makeup artist and I had a consultation with her. And between us, we came up with a shade, which I'm very happy with. Okay, now, so here is the new Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. And the packaging is very like a lot of the new Charlotte Tilbury skincare. And I'm a bit disappointed to see that they've still got all this nonsense on the packaging with these outrageous claims about 40% dark circles reduced by 40% in 28 days and skin looks smoother by 43%, not too bad, but then boost hydration by 173% in an hour. When are they going to stop with all this nonsense? They don't explain what they mean, and you know I've been there before. I just wish they would stop. Stop with it, Charlotte. Stop with it. Okay, but it is being marketed as more of a kind of hybrid skincare formula. So it does have in it things like hyaluronic acid, golden vitamin C, which, as you know, is something that she lists in her serum. And it's got collagen and niacinamide. Niacinamide is always good to have. Now, I am so relieved to tell you, if you don't know already, that this comes with a doe foot. Not this silly, silly little spongy, horrible thing that I always have to wrap. And a big elastic band so I can get the lid off. I love Magic Away, but I do not like the packaging. I like the fact that she has done away with that packaging and she's done a simple doe foot. It's a lot more hygienic. It's a lot easier to use. I do wonder whether or not this is actually Magic Away concealer, but with a new dispenser. Very similar consistency, but of course Magic Away didn't say that it got golden vitamin C, so I haven't really had a chance to really review and compare the ingredients. Certainly this is being sold more as a hybrid skincare than Magic Away, which was pretty much a makeup item. So we shall see. Now, it comes in a lot of shades. I'm going to come back. I'm going to tell you how many shades. Just bear with me. I'll be right back. Okay, it comes in 30 shades. Now, I went on and I did the online tool. So Charlotte Tilbury's website has an online tool, and it says get flawlessly matched or your money back. So what you have to do is you go online and you click on yes, I want to get flawlessly matched. And it then asks you a series of questions about your undertone and some questions which really sometimes these questions don't seem relevant, like what kind of coverage do you want? Well, you've already picked the concealer, so I don't know why they ask you that. But then do you want to use it for brightening, or do you want to use it for concealing, or do you want to use it for contouring? That is relevant. And then it asks you, you know, about your undertone, and then they take a picture. They ask you either to upload a picture or to take your picture at that point. Now, I did it 3 times to check the consistency, and I really didn't move a lot in terms of when I took the photographs. I stood in the same position and I came out with 3 different results. I came out with shade 8 first of all, then 7.5, then 6.5. Huge difference. So I was none the wiser. So then I did an online consultation with Lena on film, and Lena advised that the advice from Charlotte Tilbury is that if you're going to conceal, use it just for concealing and not brightening, then you go with whatever shade that you are in the Beautiful Skin concealer. Now, if you want some brightening under your eyes, you should go a shade below. And that's what I finally settled on. So I went for 6.5, and I'm quite happy with this. Now, when I actually tried, because the concealer that I use in Magic Away is 5.5. When she looked up, Lena looked up what was the closest shade to 5.5, it came out as 4. And I thought, I'm not risking 4, that's going to be way too light. And I have had some feedback from some of the Ali Pallies that these do come out light. But anyway, so I've ordered 6.5. So what I would suggest, if you're thinking about what shade you are and you've got Beautiful Skin Foundation, if you just want to conceal and not brighten under your eyes, go for the same shade that you have in Beautiful Skin. If you want to brighten under your eyes, then go for 1 shade below. And then, of course, there's the contouring. We'll get into that at a later stage. But that's what I would definitely do. So I wanted to go for brightening. I went a shade below, which is 6.5. Now, as you can see, it does look quite a bit lighter than my shade 7 Beautiful Skin. But it looks lovely on. So I'm going to put this under one eye. I did this last night. I was gobsmacked. I love the formula. And as I'm doing it, I'm going to talk you through it. So, as I say, doe foot with a measured amount. And I'm just going to put it under this eye to show you. I love the feel of it. Now, as you can see, it probably does look a bit light for me. But once I blended it in, I just loved the look of it. Now, I'm just going to dab it with my fingers. And I'm going to take it down so that I get a bit of highlighting on my cheeks. I think this is a real superstar product. What I like about it is it doesn't feel too thick, but at the same time it doesn't feel too thin. Now look at those. Let me take a picture of that because I just think it's remarkable. I'll just take a picture and I'll be right back. Excuse all the clutter in the background. This room is being taken over as a laundry room again. Anyway, enough of that. As you can see, it is wow. And it really does show a difference, brightening. Now, you may not want it as bright as that, in which case, as I said, just go for the same shade as your foundation. Now that I've tried the formula, I may get another one in shade 7, so that I've got one that is the same shade as my skin. But what I love about this is, as I said, it's not too thick, it's not too thin, and it feels like it's very moisturizing. So it is actually helping to minimize the look of fine lines. Don't be fooled. When we talk about fine lines, you can't get rid of fine lines, but you can minimize them by moisturizing them. And I think it has a beautiful effect of minimizing those fine lines by moisturizing them. There's a lot of moisture. It feels quite sticky's the wrong word. I'm trying to think of the word that I want to describe it as, but it feels like it's got, I can't think of the words. I'll have to put it over the top of the video. But it's a little bit like, it reminds me of Magic Away in that there's a little bit of texture to it. And I don't know whether texture's the right word, but it sort of almost feels like it gives you a slight lifting effect, like Magic Away. You know, Charlotte talks about spandex for the eyes. It feels like that, which is making me suspect that it's very similar. I think it could almost be Magic Away, but with skincare ingredients added to it, and certainly brightening effects added to it. So let's put some now. Now, I'm going to move on in a minute. Before I do that, I'm going to move on and I'm going to use the powder, okay? So that I can tell you a bit about the powder, and then I'll do both eyes so that you can see. Right, so let's move on to the powder now. Okay, so this is a powder in a kind of new white packaging with this kind of almost like angel wing designs. Now, my first impression of the packaging is that I think they're on a bit of a crafty here, in that just generally it feels a little bit less luxurious than the rose gold. Feels a little bit more plasticky. But having said that, I would say it's quite similar to the blushes. Whereas with the actual original airbrush powders in the rose gold, it just looked and felt a little bit heavier and a little bit more luxurious. But that's just the packaging. So then we have the powder. Now the powder comes in 2 shades, and I wasn't aware of that until I did the online consultation. So you've got light to medium, which is this colourless white powder. And then there is another colour available, which is medium to tan to dark, which is more of a banana colour. Now, I'm one of those shades that can always get either fair to medium or medium to dark and try them both. I wasn't really interested in getting the banana one because a lot of Charlotte Tilbury's foundations, as you know, come up quite yellow. Certainly the warm ones, you can see they're quite yellow foundations. And I am half Indian, so I'm not completely warm, but I'm warm toned, sort of going towards neutral. I find if I put too much yellow, then my skin just looks jaundiced. So I wasn't really interested in trying the other one, although at some point, no doubt, curiosity will get the better of me. So anyway, I bought this. Now what this is it's a brightening powder. So I think this is very much, although it's talking about being a face powder, I think this is very much aimed at brightening under the eyes and the areas that you want to brighten. It says skin looks smoother and brighter, again by these ridiculous 80% and 81%, reducing appearance of wrinkles by 81%. I'm not even going to get into that again. It just annoys me completely. And it says dark circles appear reduced. Again, it's sort of been sold as a kind of, perhaps a little bit less of a skincare hybrid and a little bit more as a, no, having said that, I'll take that back, because it says it's got hyaluronic acid, golden vitamin C, collagen, and Lumi Blur Light Bounce Tech. Now, remember that last thing. It's another trademarked ingredient, but it's something I noticed about the powder last night. Lumi Blur Light Bounce Tech. So let me just apply some of this powder. I'll just swatch you some of it on here. As you can see, it's white. It is white. Let me get my brush and I shall apply it next. Okay, so using Charlotte's contour brush, I'm just going to apply some, tap off the excess and just dab it under my eyes. Now, this does add to the brightening effect. So don't forget that when you're deciding, do you want to go one shade lighter or do you want to stick with your same skin tone? Because if you're getting the powder as well, don't forget that the powder is also going to brighten. It's going to add to that brightening quality. Certainly if you're going for the light to medium. Sorry about that. So there is the powder. Now, I have to say, when I put this on, I thought, yeah, it's good. It's Airbrush Flawless Finish. But it's in a kind of white shade. It's not, I wouldn't call it completely translucent, because it definitely, you can see the white brightening effect. However, what I did notice was when I went to take a photograph, and I hadn't even spotted this Lumi whatever Blur Light Bounce Tech. I'm going to take a photograph and I'll be right back. Now have a look at my eye now on video, and now I'm going to take a photograph and I'll be right back. Okay, I don't know if you noticed what I noticed, but something I definitely spotted was when I put this powder on, I thought, yes, it's good. It didn't blow my mind as much as the concealer, which I'm very excited about. But where it blew my mind a little bit more was when I actually looked at it on camera, on a photograph. And I don't know if you noticed, but it almost looks like I have put one of those photographic filters under my eyes to blur the fine lines. You can see the fine lines are there, and yes, I wasn't smiling. But even here, I'm not smiling. You can see I've got a few fine lines. But on the camera, when I took the photograph, they almost disappeared. And it's definitely one of those that I would definitely recommend if you're going to be having your photograph taken or for a wedding. I definitely think it has a blurring effect. Now, I haven't put this over my entire face yet, and I don't know really whether I want to, but what I'm going to do, just in the interest of pure science, is I'm now going to put the concealer on my other eye, and I'm going to set this face entirely with this. And then on the other side, I'm going to set my face with Airbrush Flawless Original Powder in Fair to see what the difference is and take a photograph so we see the difference there. So let's get on with that, shall we? Okay, while I'm doing this, I'm just going to conceal other parts of my face that I don't mind brightening a little bit, okay? So I'm going to sort of use it to highlight a bit as well, and in these areas here. And a bit more on my cheek peaks. And let's use it to get rid of the discoloration on my eyelids as well, because I haven't been sleeping well this week, so my eyes are looking a little bit dull. I love the amount of pigment in this concealer, and I love the blendability with your fingers. I'm really super excited about this concealer. Okay, so now I'm going to put this powder on this side of my face. I know I've already put some under my eyes. I shall do that. And then on this side, I'm going to get my Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in shade 1 Fair. And we'll see what difference it is on camera. Okay, so we've done it now. I can't tell an awful lot of difference. The only thing that I can see straight off the bat is, and I don't know if that's to do with amounts, but this side does not look as matte. It looks like the powder's soaking up more of the oils and it's looking less matte than the original Airbrush Flawless side. Now let's take a photograph and see if we can see any difference. Okay, so I've pointed out the sides because when you take a photograph, it all swaps round. I would say, actually, the Airbrush Flawless Finish, the original one, has still got a lot of blurring qualities to it. And I'd kind of forgotten how much. So this does have blurring qualities. I think where I saw the main difference is the brightening. And I think moving forward, based on my first impression, that this is one that I'll be using as an under eye powder, and then this one I will use as a face powder. I think that would work really well. I think this one, the way that it reflects the light, I think the very fact that it reflects the light off the camera actually is what is minimizing the look of the fine lines. This does it too by blurring pores, but I would definitely say that the original Airbrush Flawless Finish is more mattifying. Can you see there's still a bit of shine to my skin? And I was quite generous with how much I put on. There's still a little bit of a glow. Whereas with the Airbrush Flawless Finish original side, it's mattified it a lot. Now that's going to look different in about an hour's time. But I think that this is probably even more finely milled than the original. And I would definitely, in terms of moving forward, I think this is the one that I'm going to be reaching for to go over the brightening concealer. And I will use this to brighten under my eyes and anywhere that I want to throw light. And then I would use this one where on the rest of my face. That's how I would use these two. So I think there is a place for both if you can afford it. I think this is a great powder. I think the concealer is really impressive. I love the blendability. I love the way that it brightens under my eyes. I cannot wait now to try and get this in the same shade as my foundation, to kind of look at and see how it kind of gets rid of brown spots. I think it will do a really good job. And I also, you know, that you could also use this as a contour wand. Now, this is being marketed as you can use this for highlighting, you can use it for contouring, you can use it for concealing, you can use it for brightening. Let me tell you a secret. You can do that with any concealer, okay? But it's definitely there. And when I had my online consultation, she said, would you like a shade for contouring as well? And I said, I want to try it first. I don't want to get lots of them and then find I don't like the formula. Now I've tried it, I will definitely be getting a few more shades to try, and definitely will be getting one for contouring. I think that this will work out to be a lot more economical, because you're not getting the waste that you got with Magic Away. And also with the contour ones, you're not getting all of that stuff that's sitting in a sponge, which is really unhygienic. You're getting something like this. So I'm really, really happy with this. And I think you will be too. Any questions, do put them below. And I'll see you all very soon. I'll leave you with a swatch of this 6.5, so that if anyone is near to me in skin tone, you know what this colour looks like. Okay, see you all soon. Take care. Love you all. Mwah.